I'm sure you are excited to take your next step when it comes to functions, and let's do that right now. We are going to focus on function parameters. Yes, so in the previous example, in the previous lesson, we just had a function with absolutely nothing in the parentheses. That's no fun. We can define parameters in the parentheses. So check this one out. I say, let's define my function, and in the parentheses, I have my number. Now, what will this fun little function do? Well, it'll do a print, and it'll say number equals my number. So notice when we call this function, we have to provide a parameter. Yeah, we have to provide a number in this case. So I say my function 102, and if we've done everything right, it will print out number equals 102. Let's make sure that functions work just the way we think they should. Let's take a look at the function that we were just looking at in PowerPoint inside of our Python environment here. So let's go ahead and call this thing, shall we? We'll say my underscore function, and we'll give that number of 102. So we'll go ahead and save it and run it, and look at that. It behaves just as we thought it would. It runs the print function, and it puts in the number that we provided with the function when we called the function specifically. What do you think would happen if we did this? Yeah, what do you think if we refuse to provide the parameter? I'm not having a good feeling about this. What about you? Let's go ahead and run it. And yeah, we caused an error. Yep, we sure did. It says, hey, your my function call is missing one required positional argument called my number. Boy, this is one of those errors that we get in Python that really is as close as you could get to plain English, I would think, right? I mean, this is explicitly telling us exactly what was wrong. I love it. By the way, notice it is a positional argument. We're going to have more to say about positional arguments as opposed to other types of arguments that we can do in the next lesson. And one more thing, notice I'm calling these things parameters. The actual error message here is calling them arguments. That's another fun kind of interchangeable way to refer to the parameters inside of our function. Okay, so I want to teach you something else before we leave this example on our parameters. I want to show you something pretty nifty here. Watch this. So let me go back to where this thing was working. Okay, so I'll get it back working again. We'll put a number in there of 100. But now I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and create some code above our function definition. And I'm going to say my underscore number equals 200. What is happening here? Well, what I'm demonstrating here is that we have something that's called scoping of our variable names, and we have a scope inside this function definition that will, when we're in that function definition, cast a shadow on this variable with its assignment. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So this my number in the function will not have any effect on this my number variable. Yeah, this is because this my number has a different scope. Yeah, it has this very important scope inside of the function definition only. So what we will prove here is that this my function is going to work totally normally with the 100. And then let me do this line. How about print the variable my underscore number? All right, so what do we expect to see? Well, we expect to see the function run and say num equals 100 because it is not confused by the myNumber variable up here in a different scope. This we would call global scope for this project. And notice when I print this globally scoped variable, it should print the number 200, shouldn't it? Now, let me make this absolutely clear. While I have to teach you this, it's part of our curriculum, it's part of our requirements, understand that we would never do something like this by design, right? I mean, yuck, this is not good. I don't want to have a myNumber variable here with another myNumber variable in my code. I mean, that's something I would want to avoid. But it is worth the academic exercise here that we see this. All right, let's go ahead and file save this thing and let's run it. And look at that, it does just what we thought it would do. Yeah, the function runs normally with the myNumber variable that we passed of 100. And sure enough, that globally scoped variable is going to print its value of 200. And yeah, now we know a lot more about these parameters. Now, before I let you go, let me just go ahead and show you one more example here. And that is just reinforcing for you the fact that, well, that's our old example. Let me get the other one. There it is. Look at this file. I just wanted to impress upon you that, yes, of course, you can use multiple parameters. Yeah, you can use multiple parameters. And we'll see in the next lesson some implications of that, but just look at how this would work. I create a function here called greetUser, and it takes a first name and a last name argument or parameter. And then what do? I use that in a print statement. I print hello to the first name plus the last name with a nice exclamation point for emphasis. And then notice in this code, I am calling the greetUser function that we created with my own first and last name. So when I run it, it works just like we would expect. It does a nice hello, Anthony Sequeira, exclamation point. All right, so yes, multiple parameters. Yeah, no problem at all with multiple arguments or parameters inside your functions. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope to see you in the next lesson where we're going to talk now, when we have multiple entries like this, we're going to talk about some different ways we can reference those different parameters. I'll see you there.